you come out to teach and you're like, stars in your eyes. You stayed up till 2 a.m. creating that gorgeous lesson. But like no one tells you what to do when you have 30 students. Each one has a whole backstory. Your administration is like, fill out all this paperwork by tomorrow. And you have parents to call, papers to grade. Like no one actually really gives you those day-to-day strategies for how to really manage the workload without burning out.
I think you are really going to enjoy this conversation. You're going to meet Rachel, who was in the classroom reset, and you're probably going to relate to her because she talks about all kinds of things, including the struggles, the challenges, the burnout that she was facing, and then she found a way out. Rachel is a high school ELA teacher who came into the classroom reset working with unmotivated, challenging students who were really just making the job so difficult. But in the time frame that she took to really dig into all the things inside the reset framework, she was able to breathe new life into her lessons, into her students' engagement, and most importantly, into herself. I think you're going to absolutely love what she says about how she enjoys the professional development that she's doing inside the classroom reset. She actually called it self-care for herself. You're going to absolutely love this, and you'll probably see that it's not just about getting good behaviors in your classroom, but it's also about you enjoying your career as well. So let's dive in. Hey friends, welcome to Enjoy Teaching Again, the podcast for teachers who love the work but need a little spark to bring the joy back. I'm your host, Elizabeth Peterson, classroom teacher, arts integration specialist, and passionate educator of over 25 years. If you're overwhelmed by behaviors, disengaged students, and long, exhausting days, you are not alone. But together, we can turn things around and you can teach with confidence and purpose again. So locate that cold coffee of yours, find your favorite pen, I know you have one, and let's dive in. It's time to get inspired and enjoy teaching again. Hello and welcome to the podcast, Rachel. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I wanted to get started with telling about what you teach. Tell us about where you are and who you teach and all the good stuff like that.
Okay, great. So, hi, I'm Rachel. I am a high school ELA and history teacher, as well as a transformation life coach. So, I definitely am juggling a lot of different hats. Um, so, as most secondary teachers can relate, I teach multiple classes of varying levels. I teach native speakers, ESL learners. I also work with teens at risk. So there's definitely a lot of big emotions, even bigger behaviors in the classroom. So never a dull moment.
Definitely not with that age group and all the big emotions that you're dealing with. And I didn't know you were also a life coach. That's fantastic that you're coupling that with your expertise as a teacher. So I think that's going to be so good. All right. So I'm curious if you remember how you found me and the course, The Classroom Reset.
Yeah, so actually when you invited me on the podcast, I like sat down and I said, okay, Rachel, you have to figure out how you got to Elizabeth. So after some like hard thinking and a couple of coffees, I remembered how I got to you. Um, so I came across this blog post titled like Top 10 ELA Podcasts for Teachers. I was like, hey, why not? Like I'm a big podcast girly. Like just give me a podcast and extra large iced coffee and I'm a happy lady. So
Nice, nice.
I clicked on the link. I went to Apple Podcasts and I was like, okay, because it was mostly just like PD style podcast. And if I'm listening to a podcast, I'd rather it be more engaging, more
Yeah.
supportive, not just like this is what you need to be doing. So I was just scrolling through Apple Podcasts and then I saw your podcast. And just the name itself like caught me in my tracks because the name itself is just such a nice name, the Inspired Classroom. And
Hmm.
when I sat with myself, I was like, oh, like that's my main goal at the end, like to have an inspired classroom where students are studying because they're inspired. They want to be learners. They want to discover new things. They're curious. They have growth mindset.
Yeah.
Um, so I clicked on your podcast.
Yeah.
And it was just you have like such a fun and warm vibe on your podcast. It's really like I just felt like I was sitting with my teacher friends, who like really gets it, knows what's going
Yeah.
on in the classroom. So then, very soon I went from being passive listener to website visitor. And that's where I saw the classroom reset advertised, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've dived in so much into the course itself and done so many great things. And I'm sure we'll get to some of the fun things that you've been able
Mhm.
to accomplish. But talk to me a little bit about your decision to join the Classroom Reset. What made you feel like you needed this course?
Yeah, that's such a great question. So it was back in November. So in my district, November, December, like those are the really intense months of the year.
Hmm.
Because like later on in the year, you have midwinter break, then you have spring break, and I work in high school, so my seniors are applying for college. So like
Mm.
really that beginning of the year is like the really intense term where like, okay, summer break's over, we're doing the deep dive. There's a lot of pressure to really accomplish as much curriculum as we can. And as a teacher who's teaching multiple classes, different curriculum, also really challenging students, I felt myself slowly dissolving into a deep, dark pit of overwhelm. Yeah, and then besides for like all the demands, I have as a teacher, just to cover the curriculum, to manage student behavior, then the never ending, demands the administration, has to off not really to offer. It's a demand. They're like, do it or
Yeah.
else. There's also, I think every teacher has a list of things she wants to accomplish in the classroom, but she doesn't know how to incorporate it, how to integrate it without it compromising on the academia. So for me, I didn't just want to come in and teach the curriculum. I wanted to teach it in a way that was fun, engaging, creative, where students are able to express themselves. In addition, I didn't just want to manage student behavior. I wanted to really support student behavior. And there's such a diverse need in my classroom. I have students who are struggling with mental health,
Mhm.
students who are undergoing trauma, students who are suffering from PTSD, students who are neurodivergent. So there's so much going on in the classroom, and you really want that classroom to be, you know, not just to be a classroom, but to really be a community, to have this like amazing culture, to really have those good peer-to-peer relationships, to have a strong student-teacher rapport. And when you're training in college, no one tells you like, here's how to do it. They just tell you what to teach, how to teach, but they're not really training you for who you are teaching. Um, so
Mm.
I was in that place in November, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's only November. Like I have, I have a whole year ahead of me, and I really need to take a step back and reevaluate how I'm showing up in the classroom, because I can't keep going on like this, because I'm just going to end up super burned out in come July. And that's really when I saw your podcast, not podcast, your course advertised. And just the name itself, like the classroom reset, was so intriguing because I was like, wait, I think that's what I need, a classroom reset.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I know
so
that
yes.
you know what you're doing. Like you said, you've been trained on the content and, what to teach and how to teach it, but there's all that underlying thing. You spoke to so many of the challenges that I think so many teachers feel, and I'm in elementary, right? I'm teaching fifth grade, 10-year-olds, and you're in high school, and we're both seeing so many of the same types of challenges with our
Yeah,
students and then,
definitely.
just education in general. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I've spoken to teachers worldwide, and like, the sentiment is the same, where we feel like in college we were taught like mainly the content we would be teaching. But, there was really no focus on classroom management. If it was just very punitive
Mm.
methods. No one really prepares you for how to juggle all the balls a teacher's supposed to juggle, right? Like you come out to teach and you're like, stars in your eyes. You stayed up till 2 a.m. creating that gorgeous lesson. But like no one tells you what to do when you have 30 students. Each one has a whole backstory. Your administration is like, fill out all this paperwork by tomorrow. And, you have parents to call, papers to grade. Like, no one actually really gives you those day-to-day strategies for how to really manage the
Mm.
workload without burning out and with really how to really support students in today's day and age because, every year behavior is changing.
Yes. Oh gosh, that is so true. Let's talk about, when you were making that decision to join. Was there
Hmm.
anything you were afraid of? Maybe there was something that made you hesitate to join, like financial, was it the timing? Was it that you felt you needed to have something before you started? Was there anything like that going on for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think anytime we sign up for a course, there's like a little voice in our head that like is like the doomsayer. Um,
That is
so
true.
by me, so one of the voices was like, okay, honey, like practically, like you're going through such overwhelm. How is adding a course going to solve your issues? Like that just sounds like, you know, so much more stressful. Like get
Yeah.
real. There was also the voice of doubt, which I think we all experience when you sign up for courses of like it's kind of like cynical voice of like, is this really going to solve my issues? Is this really going to be the magical wand?
Hmm.
Spoiler alert, there's no such thing as a magical wand. You have to put in the work, but the
Yep.
classroom reset is definitely the roadmap for getting the control you need back. Um, and then as a secondary teacher, something that a specific hesitation I had was, okay, I teach secondary. I don't just teach any secondary student. My students are struggling. Um, is this going to really give me the support I need to support them? Or do I need something more specialized for the population I'm working with? But after some correspondence with you, once I realized how teacher-centered this training is, that it's not focused on the kids themselves or, the reality of teaching itself. It's focused on you, how you're showing up in the classroom, what you can control. So I was like, okay, I want to do this because that's really the key.
Yeah.
Once you're a changed person, so everything changes.
And can you speak to that whole teacher-centered aspect? Because I know that's kind of come up with you a little bit, the fact that it really did reach you. And, I'm always saying, you're the most important part of your classroom. You're the one
Hmm.
who's going to make the biggest impact on the content, the students, just everything. And so I feel like you really, really felt that as you were going through the course.
Yeah, definitely. So in my experience with professional development, at least, in the courses I had taken prior, or like any course that was brought to my school, there was a heavy focus on the things you should be doing. Like
Hmm.
here are strategies you should be implementing. This is how you should deal with X and Y. And sometimes it was helpful, but a lot of times you just came out feeling like, okay, shoot, like I don't ever do any of that. So this was just like one big guilt trip. Also, like she said, so many points, and like, how am I supposed to remember all of it? Um, there wasn't really like a mindset shift. It was just like a bullet point of, things you should be implementing. And if you're not fully embodying, the strategy, so it's just going to fall flat. And as a life coach, so something I'm very passionate about is embodiment and mindset. And when I joined your course, I realized that's really a big focus here in the classroom reset, where you don't just give us a list of strategies we should be doing, and you're like, okay, have a wonderful day, and come back and tell me how it goes. Here, it's very teacher centered, meaning anything we learn, we first do on ourselves because you really have to walk, walk the walk, talk the talk. You really
Mm.
have to embody what you're bringing into the classroom. You can't just come to the classroom with a new strategy if you don't fully believe in it, if it's not a part of you. And the minute your mindset shifts, so everything shifts because, the mind controls everything.
Hey, just in case you didn't know, from now until Thursday, I have a massive sale and bonus opportunity happening for you. In case you're listening to this episode right on time, which I really hope you are, and if you are hoping to join my online course, The Classroom Reset, this is your amazing chance to get in at such a great discount. The only way to get the best of everything I've taught and done with other teachers over the last 20 years is wrapped up in this one amazing course that takes you step by step through my entire reset framework for you to improve student behaviors, to engage your students, and to support their SEL skills, all while learning in the most teacher-centered way possible. And you even get 1.5 CEUs once it's completed. That's one of the bonuses. But wait, there's more, because if you come and enroll by the end of the day on Thursday, this Thursday, you're going to get a savings that is too good for me to share, actually. Too good for me to share verbally on this podcast. So you're going to have to head over to theinspiredclassroom.com/reset to see what the discount is and have your mind blown because I can't even say it here. And after Thursday, we've got to take it down before anyone else actually even sees it. So get in there and claim it. Okay, this offer is off the table at the end of the day on Thursday. So head on over to theinspiredclassroom.com/reset. That's THE, theinspiredclassroom.com/reset. RESET. I can't wait to see you inside. So let's talk about your actual experience, like the practical stuff. Take us a little behind the scenes. What was the program like? Highlight some of the things that you thought were just so helpful for you.
Okay, great. So, starting off in the first module, that was like such a powerhouse. So really the way you have, the training set up, there's, I think, 4 modules. And the first one is super teacher-centered, meaning it's really setting yourself up for the rest of the course. So there was a video where whoever is taking the course, sits down and just reflects. Why am I a teacher? What inspired me? What has inspired me to continue staying in the classroom? And this was so powerful because I think the moment you enter a state of overwhelm or burnout, you're no longer connected with yourself. You no longer remember your goals, dreams, your why. You're just stuck in survival mode. And the first step to doing a reset is really to get back in touch with yourself and remember, like, why am I here? What are my goals? What do I bring to the table? What's special about my teaching, about me as a teacher? So that was really the first step for me to get like the control back in my hands, was to really sit down and reconnect with myself. Another great video I loved in the module was, I don't remember what you called it, but it was basically all about like the new teacher of today, where you really went through like every challenge that teachers face today. And it was so validating. And I loved that it was in the first module because, again, when we sign up for a course, every teacher might carry a bit of guilt of like things she should have done, things she mishandled. And when you have a video that's just so validating and it's like, here, we're all in this together, we're all facing these challenges, it really opens you up to being like, okay, like the instructor gets it. And if she sees all of this, so I'm for sure going to get tools to deal with it, as well as like really alleviating the guilt. Like, there's no guilt, there's no shame. We're all in the same boat together.
Yes.
Following that, I just loved the different strategies you gave, strategies for integrating creativity, play, art into the classroom, strategies for integrating SEL into the classroom. And everything was so hands-on, like any strategy you gave we did ourselves in the course first. So it was just a really lot of fun to like connect to my creative side. It was a little like teacher self-care every day.
Yeah, that's great. And I love that you said, you got to do it yourself because some people, they'll say, oh, it's an online course. Oh, I'm just on the computer. I'm just reading blog posts. I'm just reading articles or watching videos. But can you speak a little bit to that creative side of it? Excuse me, like the hands-on part. Were you able to create some things and do some things that way?
Oh my gosh, yes. It was like whenever I needed like a moment of self-care, I was like, okay, I'm gonna log into the course, which is usually what you don't say when you sign up for like a PD course. But it was definitely super engaging. You're not just listening to a course, you're very active. You're not a passive learner.
Hmm.
So I had like my markers and my papers and I was creating, I was highly engaged in the learning process. And then there were also some videos which were videos of like workshops you had done in the past. So that
Yes.
was also really nice because like you felt like the active energy in the air because the participants were unmuting themselves and sharing. And at one point I almost spoke up and I'm like, wait, okay, I'm not I'm not actually on live. This is a recording, but um so you really felt like I really felt engaged in the whole process. And the minute you're also engaged in the learning process, it's so much easier to remember what you learn and to implement it the next day
Yeah.
in the classroom.
Yeah, just like our kids, right? A lot of this is about engagement.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And describe the support because I think one thing that really kind of sets this apart is that you have the support, not just online support, but some direct online support. And I'm so glad that you took advantage of that, Rachel. So tell us a little bit
Mhm.
about, how you were able to use the support that was included in the classroom reset.
Yeah, so I just have to say kudos, Elizabeth, because like the support you offer in this course just totally blew my expectations out of the park.
Oh, that's so
Um,
good.
Yes. So really, when you sign up to the Classroom Reset, you're not just signing up to another online course. Elizabeth is super invested in you on an individual level. I had at least, I don't know if this was part of the course, but I totally had email access to you. I would just email you. There's monthly, there's monthly Q&A. So if you have any questions, first of all, about the course, you could submit your questions. If you have a struggle going on in the classroom and you want Elizabeth's take on it, submit it. If you have a lesson you want to up level, you want to, integrate more SCL or creative strategies and you're not quite sure how, submit your lesson and Elizabeth will give you one-on-one guidance in the monthly Q&A. And I also just love the monthly Q&A because you could hear everyone else's questions and it's just like a nice way to
Mm,
like get inspiration.
mm-hmm.
Um, and so really when you're taking the course, it's not like you're just at home in, your office doing a course with pre-recorded lessons. It's super engaging the whole time and super supportive. Like, you know, Elizabeth's really holding your hand and making sure that you're getting what you need out of this course and that your classroom is truly being transformed.
Oh, that's so good. I'm so glad to hear that. So I think I know the answer to this, but was the program worth it? I mean, tell
Oh
us
my
some of
gosh,
your
yes.
wins, things that you were able to do with your kids.
Oh my gosh, yes. So first of all, I had a total mindset shift. You had a lesson, called the Hands of Control, which I'm not going to
Yes.
talk about it here because you just have to sign up for the course and see what it is. But basically, it really helps you tune in on what you can control and what you can't control, which is such a big topic, I think, by teachers because, there's so much going on, and so many times it's so easy to focus on things which really are not in our control. So,
Mm-hmm.
just as a mindset shift, that was really, really powerful for me. On a more practical level, I definitely included and integrated so much more creative strategies into my classroom to really up level the motivation, the engagement. And what I saw was not only were the students more excited to come into class, more engaged, but their grades were higher. Their grades soared because, this was something that interested them.
That's
Um,
fantastic.
so
Yeah.
we integrated drama into class. I had my students, we read a novel in class. We got up to a part where the main character made a very critical choice, and we set up a court case, and we judged the main character, and we said, should he have done this, made this decision, or should he have not made this decision? And there was lawyers, there was the jury, there was the judge, and they really got all into it, and they really had to know the novel in and out so they could bring their proofs
Mm,
and, prove their case. And, they had to quote the quotes from the book, and they really had to be super involved in the book. So they came
yeah.
out knowing the book in and out, but also they gained so much in SEL. They gained so much in creativity. We did sock puppets
Yep.
in another lesson. I used some of your strategies for creating classroom communities. So in one of my classes, I set up a question box, and my students would submit any questions they had. It could be about the material, it could be about life. And every lesson, at the beginning of the lesson, after their journal prompts, we would start off with the journal prompts to get like everyone settled, kind of like an entry routine. I would take out a few questions from the question box. And if there was a question that the student had wrote that, she was okay with it being read out loud. So
Hmm.
I would read the question out loud and answer the question, and we would debate about it a bit. And it really turned our class into like a real community because we had this bonding activity every day. It gave me a chance to really connect with the students. So all these different little strategies that I learned in the reset that are really transforming my classroom.
That's wonderful to hear. And I feel like those strategies were working because of all that foundational stuff that you were working through on your own in the course and by, doing all those initial steps and really just having that mindset shift like you had mentioned for yourself, that it just made the strategies stick. And I think that that's really where the transformation comes. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
saying, you're not just getting like a bulleted list of great, cute little ideas that you could try. Oh, why don't you try drama? Oh, why don't you try a question
Right.
box? Right? Like you were primed for it, and your students were too, because you were building such an amazing community. Yeah, I really have to, give you a shout out for really doing the
Oh,
work
thank
and
you.
yeah, just like putting things into practice, reaching out when you did want support or you had a question. I think that, it's only, it's about, 30% me, but, 70% you doing it and really implementing it and making the huge transformation that you've seen in your classroom. So that's very exciting to see. So thank you,
Oh, thank
Rachel.
you. That's so nice to hear. Thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. All right, so to end, what would you say to somebody who's sitting on the fence, maybe a little afraid to take the leap and join the classroom reset? What would you say to them?
Oh, I would say do it. I mean, this is a course that is meant to empower you, meant to transform you. You're not just getting a toolbox, you're getting a mindset shift. This isn't something that's going to stifle you, take up time out of your day. You're going to see how really you're going to just have a completely transformed classroom. And there's also so much self-care that goes into this course because Elizabeth is well aware of what teachers are going through about the demands. She knows that the last thing we need is more work. And this
Mm,
course is really built to help you streamline and to focus on what's important. Half of the strategies that you offer aren't things that we have to stay up till 2 a.m. to like prepare. A question box. You bring a box, the kids write the questions.
yeah,
um, right, like these
simple
are
and
very,
practical.
yeah. And I would like compare it almost to like a car wash. Like you come in and you're just so tired and overwhelmed, and you just go through this process and you come out a different car. So if you're ready for that transformation, sign up. you won't be disappointed.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Rachel, for taking some time to talk about the Classroom Reset and all the amazing things you were able to accomplish while going through the course. I really, really do appreciate having you here.
Oh, thanks for having me. It was such a treat.
I hope this episode inspired you, encouraged you, or gave you a fresh idea to try. And if so, I would love for you to take a screenshot and text it to one of your teaching buddies. I'm so grateful that you landed here with me today, and it would mean the world to me if you would leave me a review over on Apple Podcast. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll catch you on the next episode. This is Elizabeth Peterson reminding you to get inspired so you can be inspiring to your students and enjoy teaching again.